Continuing to fill questions for usmle, I have a student asking from within our Telegram group, how many questions per day should he go through in UWorld, and timed or tutor mode, subject specific, or random, okay? And also remarks that he's a year out from the step one. I know many of you studying for step one and step two, varying lengths of time out. So I'll address this for everybody here. So before we get started, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Give the video a like. I really appreciate it. Find me on Instagram at mehlman_medical, mehlman_medical. Links down below. Find me on Telegram. Links to the Telegram group channel down below. Now start the clip. So first point, how many questions per day in UWorld? The answer is going to be 40 to 80. I see 40 as the bare fucking minimum. No real excuses, even if you're busy. I don't want you doing under 40 a day. If you find yourself getting swamped / bogged down in trying to remember every detail and read every little minutia that you're encountering, you need to increase your pace and stop complaining to yourself, all right? You're going to have to become comfortable with just forgetting things. That's just the process. I don't want you going heavy on annotations. If anything, you can just read and not make annotations. People are going to have their differing perspectives on what they want to do in terms of writing things down. I take on the view that getting through a greater number of questions and being very conservative with annotations will get you a higher score than getting through fewer questions and then arbitrarily learning that material deeply. Okay, usmle doesn't give a fuck how much you know. It's about getting through as many questions as possible. It's a long fucking discussion. Point is 40 questions, bare fucking minimum, and up to 80. I generally have 80 as the maximum number of questions for students. Above that, you're not really reading, okay? And I want you reading all the explanations, even for the ones you get correct, okay? I want you reading everything. So even if it's a question you feel like you've encountered a million times, just quickly have your eyes scan it 30 to 60 seconds. So maximum of 80 per day. Even if you could do more theoretically because you're fast, after you finish 80, I want you going through my PDFs, for instance, or my audio QBank. Mix it up, okay? So cap your QBank off at 80 in a day. Obviously, students are going to be in a variety of circumstances where maybe some of you will get closer to your exam. We want to try to knock out QBank faster, but those are my consolidated thoughts for the moment on 40 to 80 per day. For tutor mode versus timed, I want students doing tutor mode. I see there being added value in terms of macro retention of the material, for there to be a shock factor when you get a question, you're like, no fucking idea what I'm reading right now, and then you instantaneously can see the answer. Okay, so you're going to get that shock factor. Okay, especially if you think it's B, you actually do think you know what it is, and then it turns out it's A, and you're like, what the fuck? So there's a shock factor instantly after. That helps with memory, helps with your retention. So I like that for tutor mode, in addition to the fact that timed, in terms of it's overrated, okay? Even if you're having trouble with pacing, you're not going to have issues on the real deal. Your adrenaline will carry you through. I see going through a full block timed and then trying to monotonously go through all the explanations after, it can cause students to procrastinate, okay? So I think the alternating active engagement of doing the question and reading, active engagement of the question, reading, I think that style helps students better. In terms of subject specific versus random, I want students doing random overall. Obviously, there's going to be a time and place for subject specific. If you're, for example, for your course in school, you got a quiz on GI in 2 weeks and you want to hammer out those questions. So there's going to be scenarios in which students can go about subject specific. It's just overall, for most students, if you have the ability to just craft your schedule at your leisure and you're not bound to a school quiz on cardio a week and a half from now, I want you doing random mode because that also helps with macro retention. It means a lot more if you get a question on rheumatic heart disease wrong today, and then you get it wrong 3.5 weeks from now, and you're like, what the fuck? I knew that. Shock value, right? It means a lot more in terms of macro retention and facilitates macro retention, as opposed to you learn all your cardio within 3 days. You get that second rheumatic fever question tomorrow because you're doing things subject specific. You get it right. And then it's to my observation with students, if they do subject specific, there tends to be a sharp rise in their micro retention, their short-term retention, followed by a rather quick evanescence. So 4 weeks later, a student might forget all the GI he or she learned a month ago, okay? So look, this could obviously be a lengthy clip, but I want you doing 48 questions per day in UWorld. I want you doing tutor mode, and I want you doing random. You know the deal. I'm going to continue to make more content. If you like my stuff, subscribe to my channel. And I appreciate your time. That's it.